Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. And I am your host, Hallzie Allen. Welcome all my narrators. This is the Narrative Podcast, is the home for original people reciprocity and original people progression. Hope you guys had an awesome week. Thanks to everybody that tuned in during my live on Thursday. And welcome to my platform. Okay, so my narrators are my target or my core listening audience. They are my regulars. They already know what my content is all about. But for any new people, I break it down, for you what it is I do here and what type of content to you'll be enjoying today. So first of all, let's start from the top. The Narrative Podcast. What do I mean by the narrative? I believe the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. I'll get to the original part in just a second. It's my belief that they flip the narrative about original people and original culture to, push agendas and to financially profit from our trauma and, misfortunes. Because there's billions of dollars to be made in recycling original people trauma. So what I'm saying is it's our programming and conditioning on the media's end to, portray us in a negative light. There's all kinds of incentives for them to do this. Also, it helps the already elite, already wealthy people keep a foothold, on their status in the world by utilizing these negative stereotypes that the media portrays about us to their benefit, such as financial institutions. They're automatically out the gate deny, original people homeowners, loans to buy houses and loans to buy property. So everybody knows America is for sale. You just have to have the financial means to do so. So that's, another way to short start our grind is, by perpetuating these negative stereotypes and just basically they're just weaponizing propaganda and using it against us. So on my platform, what I wanted to do is create a platform where I'm showcasing and highlighting it in a positive light and, playing up our strengths and just empowering and motivating people with positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. So people outside of our culture can learn about us, be enlightened, and, within our culture, we can feel empowered and accomplished by the positive frames of reference that I share here on my platform. What I don't do is, drag our brothers and sisters through the mud. Like I don't engage in gossip and slander. Like we got enough, other entities doing that. We need to be building each other up instead of tearing each other down. So that's what I do on my platform is try to build us up. Now what I will do is call out, a brother or sister if they're doing something that got us all looking crazy in the eye of the public, reflecting negatively upon all of us by their actions. I will call that type of behavior out. But other than that, it's all a love fest on the Narrative Podcast. It's all empowerment. It's all upliftment. Yeah, that's basically what I do here. Now let's get back to the original. So I recently had an epiphany about the word black. So I made a choice to replace the word black with original. And the reason why, in my findings, I just came into the realization that the word black reflects a whole lot of negative things. I believe on my platform in the power of words. Um, you go to any Oxford dictionary, any Mediterranean dictionary, or thesaurus, and look up the word black, you will see all kind of negative connotations surrounding the word black. You know, because they do it real, like stealthily and sneakily. They'll, let it be known to denote the origin of the people indigenous to Africa, black, and then they have all these negative, example sentences, pronouns, adjectives, nouns, describing black. So it's just like it's basically a psychological thing, is what I'm saying. Is psychologically, turn information against us, trying to ingrain it into us. They'll do things like they'll have the origin, like black people of descending from Africa, African descent, Aboriginal, original people of Africa, and then they have all these types of, example sins of black, like black, dirty, black, gloomy, depressed, oppressed, you know what I mean? And just nothing positive surrounding the word black. Black also symbolizes death and the end of all things. Now, when you flip it and go to original, you will see there's almost nothing negative surrounding the word original. Original just basically means the first. Original also means kind of the best. The original, everybody wants the original copy. Everybody wants an original experience. If you're being original, you're being unique. There's no one like you. Original often duplicated, original often imitated, never duplicated. So like you can never like duplicate the original. The original is first. And so I think that's more befitting to us, befitting to describe our people, because we were and are the original people on this planet. We mothered and fathered civilization. We were the original educators, original architects, original inventors, original journeymen, you name it. There's not too much that we didn't invent that's still being used in the modern day. There's nothing we didn't contribute to enhance civilization everywhere on the planet. We only added to civilization. We never took away from it. We never brought pestilence, famine, and war with us anywhere we existed. We only brought enlightenment. We never forced our beliefs or value systems on anyone. We don't have a history of being warlike. We only offered enlightenment and liberation. So, I think that carries more weight than black. Now, there are some instances where I will still say black, for instance, like a time saver, because on my platform, all my content is timed. Largely because when I started podcasting, I had no idea what I was doing. I just was all over the place. I would just go in, I would just hit record and just start going in. No speaking points. I'm just all over the place. So about like 4 or 5 episodes in, I decided to break my content down into sections and give each section a speaking point. And what I noticed is my numbers went up. So, that's the point of, monitoring my time on my platform. So that's what you will be experiencing today. Um, in the Narrator podcast, I have it broken down into sections. Each section has speaking points. I get to, I'll explain each section as I come to them. And also, the tagline of my podcast is the Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. The ultimate takeaway I want my listeners to get from this experience is how important it is to share positive content online, because the content, your digital footprint, is your identification these days. People associate you with the type of content you're posting on your platforms. So just think about people outside of our culture that doesn't, never had an experience with an original man or original woman. They only know the frames of reference that they've been given by the media, and all the frames of reference they have about us is negative. So just imagine you always posting gang culture, drug culture, thought culture, all these things that play into all these negative stereotypes they have about us, what other people think about that. Now, granted, you can't change the mind of someone that just is anti or intolerant of black people. Again, like I said, I told you, I say black in some instances to save time. But anyway, but yeah. So it might not be the definitive end all be all solution, but it is a solution. We should share positive content online about our people and our culture. All right. So now we got the gist of what my podcast is about. I am going to dive straight into the content. So let's get it started. My first section is called the promo section. And in this section, what I'm doing is offering the opportunity for original people that own and operate their own business or have their own product that need promotion, the opportunity to get free promotion from me, and I promote whatever they're selling on my platform for free. And the reason why I'm doing that is to do my part to help circulate the original people dollar in the original people community. Because the only one that's going to do for us is us, so we got to support each other. Also, the types of businesses that I cross my fingers and anticipate supporting are businesses that do for the community that they're rooted in, such as like hiring their own, have some type of, vocational training, do some type of philanthropy, giving back, not just, hit me up just because, you got your own business. Like, give back to the community, hire your own, give your community what we need, We gotta shake this me and mine mentality, because it's killing us. Oh, wait. I said I was going to dive right into the content. One more point that I want to make about using the word original in reference to our people. When you say original, it also helps to unify us, because we are so diverse. There are so many different types of us. So, we got some here, just speaking here in the Americas, you got some of us that came over here via the transatlantic slave trade. And then you got some of us that was already indigenously native to the Americas. So, when you say original, that kind of unifies us as a people rather than separate us, because there's so many, different types of us. We got, Jamaicans, we got Haitians, Afro-Latins, the ones that know don't refer to themselves as Afro-Latins. They just say they're black. But, um, just so on and so forth. It just, the word original helps break down those barriers that separate us and just unify us as one people. Because, people outside of our culture, they just lump us all together anyway. And when you look at their cultures, they all stay united by not, having any, separation amongst them. And you'll see it when there's time, when something happens within their community, how, close they stay together. They might not agree with each other, but they stick together. They don't let words and, other things separate them. Like, for example, within the Jewish community, you got several different types of Jews. So you got like Ashkenazi, you got Hasidic, and, so forth, so on and so forth, but they don't let that separate them. So, but anyway, so that's just a point that I felt I need to make about using the word original. But now diving back into the content, so where was I? I was at how to get the free promotion. So if you would like the free promotion, all you have to do is hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo, body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, business, product, or service, and I will gladly plug, whatever you're selling for you for 110% free. And as I said, is to do my part to help keep, the original dollar circulating in the original community. So to like bring you business and, make you more visible out here on these internet streets and these social media streets. So all publicity is good publicity. It's 110% free, so you have nothing to lose. I'm not charging you any money. It will only benefit your business. And, it'll also help my platform grow too and give me some, experience as, give me some, a notch under my belt as a, underwriter. So, it's all to the greater good. It's all to the greater good. Now on to my next section. This section is called the contest section, or the promotional section, where I'm actually promoting my own podcast, and I'm doing this by hosting a contest for my listeners, giving them the opportunity to win a bulk supply of their favorite snack just by simply entering the contest and sharing their most recent shopping while black experience. And the purpose of me doing this is to offer incentive to reward my listeners that have been listening to me since day one, and also to attract new listeners so they can tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tune in to the Narrator podcast and download all episodes of the Narrator podcast, so I can keep growing my platform, keep doing cooler things. I am making this transition into video. I'm just being really selective of my content that I want to share visually, because the narrative can get flipped very easily in that realm. That manipulate audio images really easily, can make it appear to be something that it's not. And I want to do a really good job at representing us well and, putting out content that'll have us in a positive light. So there's just so much going on the internet right now. I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you my delay, because I've been saying it for a while that I'm going to make the transition into video from this audio platform. But anyway, to enter the contest, all you have to do is the same exact email address. I'm separating them through the subject bar. So just hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type chew on this, and then back, and then slash or dash, shopping while black, or, you know, or if you don't want to type in the whole word shopping while black, just SWB in all caps. Body of the email, tell me your mailing address. Of course, share your most recent shopping while black story, your most recent shopping while black experience, and then tell me your favorite snack. That's simple. So, most recent shopping while black experience in the body of the email, your mailing address, and then what type of snack you want. And again, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, very important in the subject bar, type chew on this slash or dash shopping while black. And you will get rewarded a bulk supply of your favorite snack just by sharing your most recent shopping while black experience. Another reason why I've decided to do that particular topic is to keep the conversation going, because this is something that happens all over the world. We experience this really reprehensible behavior towards us when we're patronizing retailers, you know. So we definitely got to keep the conversation going. I know the ultimate solution is just to, don't patronize people that don't want your business. But here's the thing, you can't tell who don't want your business by looking, just solely by looking. You don't know how they are until you enter their establishment. Yes, we do need to get our own businesses, and yes, we do need to patronize our own businesses. But, just being realistic, living in the world, it's a melting pot. You're going to have to venture outside of the community at some given time, and you're going to want and need to get treated like a whole human being. So instead of like an animal, instead of lesser than, and a thief or a miscreant or whatever you want to, whatever terminology you want to use for us. But we definitely need to be treated with respect and decorum. Again, these negative stereotypes, play a big role in that, how we get treated by retailers. But anyway, so to enter the contest, hit me up at passionwebmail at poeticpassion.host. And in the subject bar, type chew on this slash or dash shopping while black, SWB in all caps. If you don't feel like typing out the whole word, bam, there it goes. The shopping while black contest. Again, I'm not charging a entry fee. It's 110% free. And you're going to get a prize just for entering the contest. So like right when I get your response, I'll be sending your snack to you. That's simple. No strings attached. I'm not after your data, your information, none of that. I'm just trying to, incentivize listening to my platform. All right. So that's that section done. And now we're going to dive in right to the main section of my podcast, the true introductory section of my podcast. That was just like the preliminary section. This section is called the highlight section, and what I'm doing is I'm actually highlighting businesses owned or operated by original people. And the reason why I'm doing this is to provide the positive frames of reference about our people by showcasing, highlighting entrepreneurialism, doing for self. The types of businesses that I highlight in the highlight section are, stories about people that literally came out of the mud, started a business with little to no finances, started their own business with little to no education, um, little to no previous experience in whatever they're selling or merchandising or whatever they're doing. They also give back to their community. Many of them are family owned and operated, so that that's that generational wealth aspect of it. Uh, and like they do for most of them, like all the ones I try to highlight, do for the community. They either have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into a nonprofit organization. So thus, keeping that spirit of giving constantly circulating. Uh, and also just, portraying us in a positive light, being entrepreneurs, doing for self, not dependent upon the system. This is just stories about, regular smegular people that got sick and tired of being sick and tired and decided to, was passionate about something and decided to just step out on faith and pursue, their dreams. Because again, this media, the way they weaponize it against us, it'll have us believing that we cannot, get off that treadmill, and it's just like a never-ending thing with all this, negativity that bombard us with. So, you just gotta, if you really want it, reach deep and go for it. And though that's what I try to, convey in this section, stories of people that just dug deep and went for it. Now, I know everybody has different extenuating circumstances, but I'm just putting out the positive frames of reference. Just because it worked for them does not necessarily mean it will work for you. But, we all have our own path in life, but, they did find a way to do it. And that's what I try to convey in this section. People that found a way to do it, was passionate about something, and pursued their goals, and now they're working for themselves rather than someone else. So with no further ado, so just a disclaimer before I even jump into it, I really try to do stories where, I'm showcasing their transition, like how it got started, what inspired them, what motivated them to do it, the opposition, types of oppositions they face while, pursuing, starting their own business, how they got their idea, how they even got inspired to start it. Just I want to showcase and highlight the transitional phases that they went through to start their business. That's what I want to try to give you in this section, but all the time it doesn't work like that, because sometimes the information is just not provided there. Like there's no interviews or, nothing I could dig up on YouTube. It's just like, okay, when I'm decided to do original people owned and operated business, in that section, sometimes it just is what it is. And today is one of them days where it just is what it is. So like in this section, I look for the qualifying factors. They, of course, are original people owned and operated. They hire their own. They give back to the community, and they either pay into a nonprofit organization or have their own nonprofit organization. And lastly, they align up with my theme. And this month's theme, since we just left fall, we're into winter, specifically gearing up for Christmas. Spoiler alert, that's going to be my speaking point today when I get to the speaking point section. What was I said? Oh yeah, so this week's or this month's theme is the season of winter, but specifically Christmas. So I think for the my next few episodes, I do, businesses that you think of when you're out doing your holiday shopping. But anyway, so like I said, my inspiration came from the Christmas season. And what better way do you gear up for Christmas? It symbolizes the start of Christmas is the season's greeting cards. So, this in today's section of the highlight section, I'll be highlighting businesses that specialize in greeting cards. So the first greeting card company comes from one Miss Chandra Greer, and it's called Greer Chicago. The physical address is 1013 Webster Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, 60614. Telephone number 312-337-8000. And the website is greerchicago.com. She also advertises on Facebook, Instagram, and I believe Twitter. She basically was inspired because she likes sentiment. She likes making people feel nice. She also wanted some inclusion in the greeting card companies because there's not so many greeting cards that, cater to our experience in life with sentiments that we can, feel a closeness to. So this is like, a unique experience, cultural nuances. That's what she tries to convey in her style of greeting cards. You can go to the About section at Greer.com to read more in depth what her specific style of sentiments for greeting cards is, where she's drawing her inspirations for them. But go ahead and please hit her up, patronize, and support the sister. I want to give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause for Chandra Greer and Greer Chicago. Now, the next section comes to us from, the next company that I'll be highlighting is called Blunt Objects. Founder's name is one brother by the name of Ben Blunt, kind of like the R&B singer Tanya Blunt, just about spelled like that. So definitely it's a change on words, play on words, and I'm a sucker for a play on words. That's why I decided to do that one, because his last name is Blunt. And the name of his company is Blunt Objects. So, hit you with a blunt object. But that's very clever. So, but anyway, his website is www.bluntobjects.com. Now, the focal point of his greeting cards is more on the political side. He has things more indicative of the the liberation movement here in America. So, some people call it radical. I don't know why you call telling the truth radical, but that's the type of cards that he prints. He's involved in all kind of social activism. That's how he gives back, is through his work with activism, being socially active. He did a whole lot of stuff during the Black Lives Matter, not like, for that organization that stole all the money from the people, but like just saying our lives matter. He was, his company was real vocal in that space. So definitely support that, brother. Doesn't say what year it started or anything like that, because like I said, ideally, that's what I like to do in these sections. I like to tell you, what year they started, their path into starting the business, what obstacles did they face, how they got inspired to start it, what year they started it, what are their businesses, core value systems, what's their mission statement for their business and all that good stuff you need to know. But it didn't work out like that this week. Yeah, it is what it is this week. But that's, I wanted to pick greeting card companies, and like it is what it is. The whole background development story didn't play out. But anyway, go support that brother in his greeting card company, Blunt Objects. Ben Blunt at www.bluntobjects.com. A warm narrative. Round of applause for brother Ben Blunt and Blunt Objects greeting cards. Now, this person I kind of can go a little bit more in depth into for my very last, or there's more for you to go in depth to. I didn't really take all the stuff she's involved in because she wears a lot of hats in my notes, but she definitely has a more pronounced carbon or digital footprint, on the internet, because she has like so many stuff. She's written books, like TED Talks. So they say she's a serial entrepreneur. No idea what serial entrepreneur means. I'm about to look that up right quick. Was she like milk and cookies? Serial entrepreneur. Like Captain Crunch, Kellogg's. What is serial entrepreneur? Is someone who starts multiple businesses. All right, gotcha. So she owns multiple businesses. All right. So I will be on the very last section, and the spotlight section is culture greetings. And this is, this is started by one Mrs. Dr. Dion Manfi. The website is culturegreetings.com. You can go to the About section, and if you want to go more in depth into her educational background, there's all kinds of stuff that she's involved in. She's gotten her, education at a plethora of prestigious institutions. She got a host of degrees. And so, like I said, she does like motivational speaking. She writes books. Does all kinds of public engagement. She's also a social activist as well. She champions like a whole lot of social causes. She's definitely a Renaissance woman. So go support her with the Culture Greeting Cards Company. That's Dr. Dion Maffey, Culture Greetings. I'm just keep on saying Culture Cards. It's just Culture Greetings. And support that. Support all of them. Because, there's only one people that's going to help us is us. So we have to support our own at all given times. We also have to, talk up our own and speak highly of us at all times, even when we don't necessarily agree 110% with the person. Still, got to stay on code and support. So support all these businesses. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and give it up for Culture Greeting Cards and Dr. Dion Manfi. All right. So moving right along, my next section. This section is called the spotlight section. Excuse me. Got to switch gears. I'm out of the highlight. I'm into the spotlight section now. So in this section, what I'm doing is spotlighting prominent figures in our community, such as actors, actresses, basically any entertainers, athletes, comedians, writers, producers, content creators, just basically anybody in the eye of the community that holds us in a positive light, that gives back to the community, engages in social activism, bringing social awareness to our plight here in America and abroad. Uses their platforms to speak unapologetically about our issues. Also does philanthropy, giving back. Creates learning institutions, financial institutions, or just basically the way they carry and conduct themselves to, make all of us look good. Though that's what, the criteria for a spotlight is. So my spotlight section is basically like, just basically giving a person's roses while they're still here, acknowledging them for all their contributions and everything they do for us, or do for us or have done for us. So, that's what I attempt to do in that section. Now, having said that, something that I keep saying over and over again, nobody's ever refuted the claim, so I must be telling the truth. I started the way for spotlighting because before Hallzie Allen, on the Narrator podcast, added the spotlight section to my podcast, nobody on the internet anywhere was spotlighting anyone. Nobody was giving nobody no props, no nothing. So, I give myself a round of applause. And I'm not seeking validation. Imitation is the best form of flattery. So I'm flattered that so many people hopped on that wave because, that's good. That's what I was trying to do, was set the precedent for, us speaking highly of one another and congratulating one another and saying just nice things about each other rather than dog each other out on the internet and acting all out of character just to get likes, just to get views, go back and forth in the comment section, on Shade Room and all these other gossip places, Instagram, whatever, airing dirty laundry and taking cheap shots at each other. So a spotlight is definitely a refreshing change of pace, and it's something I want to make the norm. Like, we should just be celebrating each other at all times because we got so many other entities and so many other obstacles and oppositions to defend ourselves against without us being in the fray as well, taking jabs at each other and trying to hurt each other and go out of our way to be malicious towards one another. So, I'm glad I inspired that way to, say nice things about one another. All right. So now that you got a gist of what this section is about, I'm going to go straight on into it. So today's spotlight section is one of the arguably most iconic, influential, recognizable personalities in Hollywood of all time, especially in the year of the 80s, and especially, in that pocket. His presence was definitely dominating. It's just somebody you knew was in the room. When they came in the room, you just knew they was in the room. Very commanding, dominating personality. Growing up, he was definitely a glimpse at what masculinity looks like, not backing down, standing up for yourself. He represented say it with your chest before say it was your chest was a whole thing. He was very unapologetic about speaking to white people. Like, he would go on talk shows and be very comfortable. He wouldn't tolerate any disrespect. And his physical stature demanded that you respect him, because he was a big brother in his prime. Very big, very brolicky and intimidating. He always had a grimace on his face, but underneath all that, he had a heart of gold to complement all the gold that he wore. Like, I think most rappers probably got that from him, all the gold that he wore. So that should be a spoiler alert who I'm finna talk about. So today's spotlight is none other than cultural icon, activist, down-to-earth brother, Mr. T. So Mr. T, born Lawrence Terod on May 21st, 1952 in Chicago, Illinois. He attended Dunbar Vocational High School, studied martial arts, wrestling, attended View A&M University, where he majored in mathematics. He ended up having to drop out first semester. He didn't really say why. He also did a stint in the U.S. military, where he was an MP, military police. His first gig, he was a bouncer. I'm not going to go down everything he did in life. I'm just get to the highlights. His film debut was like in the late 70s. He also did he bodyguarded a whole lot of celebrities, such as like Steve McQueen and a whole lot of people. So he was a personal celebrity bodyguard. He was in Penitentiary 1 and 2. Another breakthrough movie for him was Rocky 3. And then DC Cab, but his breakthrough role, of course, was on the 1980 series, The A-Team, which ran for like 6 seasons on NBC. So yeah, he's always been a domineering force in our community. Stern, aggressive, yet groomed and mannerable at the same time. So he always spoke with dignity, an air of dignity, and he wasn't never on no cooning and buffooning. He wore the gold. Everything he did had, his whole look was a visual representation. He got his mohawk. He was inspired when he seen a documentary about the Ndinka tribe in Africa, and decided to make that his signature look. Also, his chain, all that gold, that he wore symbolized that was a homage to the ancestors. The chains he wore around his neck symbolized the slaves in the transatlantic slave trade. And then also the gold, all his jewelry, his rings kind of symbolized African tribes as well, because back then they didn't wear all that gold. It wasn't for, as a as a symbol status. It was gold is healing. Gold has healing energy. That's why he wore all those rings on his fingers, and why he's still such in good shape today in the 70s. He's also a devout in the Christian faith. He's that has so many charitable organizations. He caters to children. He always had a soft spot in it. Growing up in Chicago, in the mean streets of Chicago, had a soft spot for children. So he was always someone to look up to, for the children to look up to, and a whole lot of full-grown adults too as well, to give them inspiration and motivation. Giving him the spotlight for being consistent, for being honest, for being virtuous, for being righteous, for standing for something, saying what he means, meaning what he says, being a straight shooter, and again, being a visual representation of heterosexual masculinity. Like, he was very, sure of himself, confident, and unafraid to, speak his mind at any given time. So his most favorite phrase was, "I pity the fool." So anybody that tried it, he felt like, "I pity the fool." That was his catchphrase. So while he was very entertaining, he was very deep and philosophical, and very knowledgeable about, his ancestry, very proud of who he was, and, inspired children of all ages to be proud of who they are and to find out, their past and their origin, and to represent it the way he represented it. So he did it like really. His whole look was just a representation of, his identity, also a representation of originality, not trying to be like nobody else. So, a whole lot of people probably was roasting him behind his back about the jury and I still don't really know the significance about the earpiece. Like, he got like a rabbit foot on his ear. I never did know the significance of that. But pretty much everything else, one of his most educational, enlightening moments was probably like on the David Letterman show in the early 1980s in the interview. When he was telling them about, the significance of his outfit, about the way he dressed. And also he kind of checked the mess out of Dave, because he was trying to have jokes. He's a comedian, but he was already letting him know, "I ain't that funny dude, I'm trying that." I'm going to try to punch that up right quick. I think I got time. I'm doing good on my time. I think I try to keep all my podcast down to under an hour. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit over today, but I mostly try to keep them like no longer than an hour. See if I'm going to cooperate. See if I can get it punched up.
Hey, it's almost Thanksgiving.
All right, I found it. Let's see if I got the right one. This cue is coming up.
Welcome back to the show. We have a fine program for you tonight.
I don't own the rights.
Tour of New York City's donut shops. Also, Ron Howard will be joining us. Another installment of Nightcap Theater, perhaps. And we'd like to remind you that Friday, is it Friday we'll be doing this? Our first Christmas extravaganza. That will be Friday. Jot that down. Christmas extravaganza. That will be Friday. Jot that
I'm trying to get to it.
watching there.
Well, the character calls to be hungry, and I've been hungry all my life, so it wasn't a problem. That's why I wear these combat boots, because it's symbolic of my struggle. I'm born in the ghetto and raised on welfare, so that's what sort of the character was about.
Yeah.
A lot of people mistake him for being mean and hateful. He don't hate, he just hungry. He's been pushed aside so long. Here he's the number one challenger, and still he don't get a shot at the title, so that makes the guy mad.
Yeah.
So that's where I've been lost a lot of jobs and things like that.
What kind of jobs were you like secretarial work, I'm guessing, is out. That's you know, just a joke. Yeah.
Now, you see, that's why I'm squeezing this ball, because so I won't get too mad. I was mad last week. I was supposed to come on, and I'm a very impatient guy. A lot of things I could be doing. So I come here. I said, so in case he get to telling them corny jokes, I'm gonna squeeze his ball. If I squeeze the ball too many times, if you see me squeeze the ball over 10 times, that means cut jokes. I done squeezed about 6 times already. Oh shit.
6. We're up to 6, so we have 6 over here. And now you're just, let's explain what happened last week. You were scheduled to be on the show, and we ran out of time. I know what it was the elevator races.
Right, it really made me mad.
Really? Were you actually angry?
Well, I'm trying to get to the part where he's explaining about his jury.
And so at the tattoo on TCB, I believe in taking care of business. I came here to do the show. Mr. T do not like to wait for nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, let me just apologize for any inconvenience, and we're glad that you didn't squeeze it again, did you?
That's 8 times. Got 2 more times.
8 times.
It's okay. It's okay because he's paying me for it, so it's all right.
That's right. Yeah.
And as long as I'm getting paid for it, so I need the money to help out a mother house and to help build a community center for the kids in Chicago, for less fortunate people in Chicago. That's what I'm about. So all the money I get on these shows, and I save the money and give to the people who really need it. A lot of people are out of work and don't have jobs, so they can use the money.
Now let me, for people who may not, do we want to take a look at the movie now, or do we have time to do it after the commercial?
Politics, man.
Impressive. Now we have just a brief amount of time. We're going to go away for a commercial. We'll be back.
Well, I tried to punch up the part where he was talking about his chains, but I think I pulled up the wrong clip. But basically, he was trying to tell the significance of what all that jewelry he wore around his neck meant. But like I already told you, it just symbolizes the chains of the ancestors that came over as slaves in the transatlantic slave trade here in America. So that was indicative of that. So his look, had a visual representation. It meant something. So everything on down to his shoes meant something. So he wasn't just clowning and buffooning or having a gimmick. It was symbolic of his identity as an original man. So that's why I chose Mr. T, as the spotlight, because he never was ashamed or intimidated or feeling he had to dumb his words down or pander to make people feel comfortable. he told it like a TI is. So that's why I chose him as a spotlight. Who was very fortunate to have him growing up. I remember the cereal. I used to love the little Mr. T animated cartoon. Um, so he's definitely a cultural icon. Saying that's even an understatement, but definitely deserving of the spotlight, definitely deserving of the roses. Um, we should have gave him so many awards and accolades for all the work he's done in the community, all the charitable organizations that he's donated to, and going places to represent us well. He's like really underappreciated. So he's getting this shine on the Narrator podcast here today. Warm round of applause for Mr. T. All right. Now off that, the next section is the health and wellness section. I think I kind of already did this. I might have already did this, but I'm not sure. But yeah. But I'll tell you. I haven't explained the section, so I'll get to it. The health and wellness section is to basically to promote health and wellness, total body health and wellness for our people. Anybody listens to my podcast is free to listen, but they just need to know the core of my content is aimed directly at my people. But if you can listen to it, being Caucasian, being Asian or whatever, and get something out of it, then, it served a purpose, but it's specifically for my people. So, our unique cellular structure, our unique physiology, our unique mental things we deal with. But anyway, so like I said, this section is designed to inspire total body wellness, total body restoration, and total body prosperity, because health is wealth. Basically, I felt the need to add this section because we're not the most at risk, but again, with the media always telling us we're the most at risk, kind of causes a chain reaction on a subconscious level when they constantly bombard us and tell us, we're the number one at risk for this disease, that disease, that disease, that disease. But basically, what in this section I'm trying to do is get us to armor up, because we have so many illnesses and things weaponized against us. We need to just really stay in perfect body health, mental health, spiritual health. We got to watch what we're putting into our bodies. We got to watch what we're taking into our minds. We got to guard, as the new saying goes, we got to guard our energy. We got to guard our spirit. So we just basically had to stay armored up in these times. That's what this section is indicative to, staying armored up. In this section, what I usually do is offer the health benefits of something you ingest, like veggie, fruit, herb, plant, root, elixir, etc. Something ingestible with a lot of health benefits. Or some type of physical exercise you can do, or mental exercises, mindfulness, mindful breathing, meditation, prayer, metaphysical things you can do to stay in peak physical shape, because with the way to weaponize this media, when you get too much stress built up, it weakens your immune system. And once your immune system has been compromised, and that's when the diseases set in. So that's what this section is about, to just basically keep your immune system strong and fortified, keep your will strong and fortified, keep your body strong and fortified. So today's health and wellness tip is the importance of intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is necessary because it doesn't matter what diet you subscribe to. It's all about the portion control. It's all about the portion control and the timing of when you eat. See, everything has a cycle. That's what they don't really stress or teach enough in school. Like, everything has a cycle. You got a sleep cycle. You have a eat cycle, a breathe cycle. So like, we're supposed to do everything in timed increments. So if you don't get enough sleep, then that causes duress in the body. If you don't eat enough food or eat too much food, that causes, duress in the body. So, everything has to be in alignment. Everything, has to be perfect, especially your eating habits, especially around this time of year. That's why I decided to do intermittent fasting. I was going to do dry fasting, but I guess I can piggyback dry fasting off of intermittent fasting. So I've never done like a dual subject in the section, but I guess it's first time for everything. But I'm going to go with what I had planned originally. So intermittent fasting is just basically eating one time a day, a mono diet, if you will. And it's important to do that so you don't overeat and, just ruin your digestive system, your digestive tract, eating multiple things, because, like I just said, everything has, a cycle. So your digestive system has a cycle. So just imagine you putting all these different foods, because we've been lied to so much in this society. We've been lied to like a square meal, like you don't need a grain, a protein, and a grain of protein and a starch. You don't. That's how they teach you in school how you got to eat. That's what's called a balanced meal or a square meal, and that's absolutely false, because your body breaks things down in stages. It's a cycle. So if you only eat one thing, that's less work that your body has to do. There's less stages or cycles that it has to go through to, aid in the digestive process. And the only thing that trumps, intermittent fasting is dry fasting, not eating anything at all, abstaining from food and drink. Now, the benefit of, intermittent fasting, you'll have more energy. You will feel more rested. Your cells have more time to rejuvenate. If you have an allergy, if you have a food allergy, and as we, at 18 years old, we physically stop growing, but internally, we never stop growing. Like, our body's always constantly evolving and changing internally. So, you can always take on a new allergen, something you've been eating all your life, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just become allergic to it. Your body says, no more of this. So that's one of the benefits of intermittent fasting. If you're only eating one thing, you can identify if something that you're eating is making you sick, and then immediately, get rid of it, get it out of your diet. Because, you only been eating that one thing. And if you get sick eating that one thing, well, all I've been eating is this, so bam, found the culprit. So stop eating that, the thing that's making you sick. So also another benefit of intermittent fasting is increased stamina, hyper focus, mental, you'll be able to think more clearly, concentrate longer, your reflexes will be better, sharper, skin, hair, nails, everything just, physically, your whole physical, internally and externally will just be better. So you'll be able to like burn fat quicker. You'll be able to, work out longer. You'll be able to develop muscle mass quicker, more endurance, more stamina, and just, look and feel better physically and mentally. That's the benefit of, intermittent fasting. And then, of course, and it also helps, cleanses the cells. When you stop eating altogether, that's definitely like a scrub brush for the inside. When you just stop eating food altogether and just let the body just naturally cleanse itself. Now that's the benefit of total of dry fasting or fasting. So you also gain clairvoyance and insight. For people that don't believe in it, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's such a thing as clairvoyance and insight. It just is. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But you gain clairvoyance and insight when you deny the body of food. It also helps with discipline. So if you can discipline yourself to eat one time a day or not at all, you can kick bad, nasty habits. Like if you smoke, drink alcohol, sex, whether you're relating with other people or relating with yourself, other compulsive habits, gambling, drug addiction, lying. Some people are addicted to lying, compulsive liars, compulsive eating, too much television. So you definitely gain more hyper focus with that discipline and be able to prioritize things and get things done more quickly, ascertain information at a quicker rate, retain knowledge, because like a lot of people read a whole lot of books and they can comprehend and they can speak articulately, but they don't retain the knowledge that they read. So this will help you with information retention. And it'll definitely combat inflammation and other diseases in the body, because with little food source or no food source at all, there's nothing for the illness to feed off of, so therefore it has to excommunicate itself out of the body. So don't fall into that myth. The only way you beat a cold is to feed a cold. Don't fall into that. Don't feed a cold at all. And you'll sweat it out your pores. It'll come up out your body. It'll come up either out your front or your rear, but it'll come up out you. Because there's nothing for it to thrive on. So that's it, and that's all on that section. And on to my speaking section, or speaking point of the day. And my speaking point of the day is usually like current events, world news, things pertaining to the world, or specifically in our community, specifically things about us. And the purpose of me doing that is controlling the narrative. Because like I said, the media will try to have us looking and sounding all kinds of crazy. And, if you control the narrative, they can't do that. So what I do is usually unpack it from our perspective on our own terms and conditions, like tell it from, whatever the story is, the way we perceive it, or if it's something that happened in our community, unpacking it from our perspective instead of all these media outlets covering it, their perspective of it, because, they'll have us looking and sounding all kind of crazy. Also in the event, some days I don't have a speaking point like that. And on those days, what I just do is I make an honest observation about our people and, and just talk about it. And I think that that's one of those days today. I'm going to just talk about it. Just something on my mind. It was weaning heavily on my mind, and I'm going to just talk about it. So, all right, what is the season? What are we gearing up for? We're gearing up for the holidays. So first and foremost, it's a pagan holiday for all my religious people, all my Christian family. As well as I know, it has no biblical significance whatsoever. The holiday doesn't have anything to do with the birth of Jesus Christ. It doesn't, embody that at all. Also, historically, there was no historical evidence to support that it was even on the 25th when the Son of Christ was born. So where did the holiday come about? It's basically like a greedy corporation holiday. And for our people, it's very toxic. Because this is why people call it getting the winter blues, because they get all down and depressed in the holidays because they want to, extract happiness from outside sources. They want to equate, did you have a nice Christmas? So we want to equate it with, the holiday meal, unwrapping the gifts, being with family and friends, traveling. And, it's not supposed to be any of that. I mean, we can go, it got real darker origins than that. Krampus, Google that. I'm not going to go into the story of Krampus, but that's kind of where it derived from. This is an evil, demonic deity that would punish children for being bad. But, for our people, it is just toxic on so many levels, but the most toxic it is financially. We sit up here, get ourselves in debt for this one time of year when we really should be, like, taking care of our business. This is like, because there's ample opportunity to make money over the holiday. Why would you spend it away when there's all kind of opportunity to make money? There's not one single retailer out there not hiring right now. There's not one single warehouse not hiring right now. Like, the holiday season is peak work season. So that's what we should be focused on, is like designing a product. We should be focused on like buying stock. We should be focused on buying land and buying property because it's real cheap right now. But we're focused on buying things. To prove our love to somebody. To prove I'm a good brother or sister or a good uncle or whatever, because I'm going to get my relative a gift. I'm going to go, buy my children a gift, and then after the day's over, then I'm back. I'm going to be super nice to all my other fellow people on the planet. I'm going to walk in good love and cheer all on this one day. But then after the day's over, I'm going to be the same contemptible wretch that I was before the holiday started. You know, Charles Dickens wrote a classic about Ebenezer Scrooge, the Christmas Carol. But when you look at it, Scrooge wasn't really a bad guy. He was very frugal. He was frugal, but he was a hustler. He was like working on Christmas and making money. So like money definitely isn't the end all be all. I say it all the time on my platform. It's a tool. It doesn't control your happiness level, but at the same time, out of all the people on the planet, we need to build. And we need plenty of raw material. So why would you take your raw material money and waste it on one day? On a day that doesn't have any cultural significance, any spiritual significance, any, real happy significance to it. It's like, again, television programming. That's where we get the nostalgia for Christmas, like all this like TV and radio and ads. That's the nostalgia. It's not, something that's been ingrained into us. We've been indoctrinated into the Christmas thing. And see, right around this time of year, this is when you're supposed to be digging yourself out of the ditch. You got the shovel to dig yourself out of the ditch, but you're not using it. You're sitting up here buying stuff you don't need. You're buying other people's stuff that they don't need, and more to it, they're not going to appreciate it. They're not even going to say thank you. They're going to feel entitled like you're supposed to give it to them because it's Christmas. Merry Christmas, man. Bye, humbug. But yeah, though, I'm not saying that you should be down in the dumps. Not saying you shouldn't, not enjoy any festivities, like partake in, whatever, office parties, the ugly shirt, ugly sweater contest, and, all these other little corny Christmas traditions. Not saying that, but don't get lost in the plot financially. That's what I'm saying. That's my overall point. Don't financially get lost in the plot. Don't OD on the gifts. And if you're going to give gifts, give practical gifts. Gifts, some people that they need. It doesn't have to be designer if you're going to give somebody some clothes. It doesn't have to be a foreign, if you're going to buy somebody a vehicle that needs a vehicle, it don't have to be a foreign model. It doesn't have to be like really even an E-class or an S-class. If they need a whip, point A to point B, if you want to buy somebody a car. But this extravagance around this holiday is killing us financially. And I wanted to make, that's why I made that my speaking point, because you need to be financially aware this time of year rather than extravagant this time of year. If you're going to do a vacation, look for ways to save money on the vacation. You can there's all kind of cost-effective ways to travel first class and still have, save some bread. Because we're supposed to be buying stock right now. We're supposed to be buying land right now. We're supposed to be buying the tangibles that our government isn't giving to us right now. Yes, our government owes us tangibles, but, that's a whole different story for a different time. But right now, we should be, stockpiling on tangibles rather than just buying frivolous, meaningless gifts that isn't symbolic or indicative to anything that means anything. If you want to make a difference, make a difference all year round. Don't just feed the hungry and homeless and less fortunate on Christmas, Thanksgiving, and whatever other holiday. If you're gonna walk like that all year round. Don't let that just be your 1 year swag. Make it be your all year swag if you're going to do that. but don't try to use Christmas as a way to be financially irresponsible and be up in the poorhouse after Christmas and then got to take all the gifts back that you just bought anyway to get up out of credit card debt, to get up out of financial debt. You should be, if you're paying a mortgage, you should be paying ahead of time, or renting or paying the mortgage. You should be paying the rent and the mortgage ahead of time right now. Now, I understand I don't have children of my own, but I understand they want the nostalgia. You want to have there's something up under the tree. You want to see your child's face. But the best thing you can do for your child, and they'll appreciate it later in life, is get them something that they really need instead of things they don't. Like, it's becoming a trend. I see it like trending all up and down my timeline. These stories I've been sharing on my lives, parents have actually purchased shares of companies for their children. Parents have actually bought their children vending machines. Like, buy your child an LLC. Buy your child a way to make some money. Do that. Encourage generational wealth around this time of year instead of just giving it away to these greedy faceless corporations. So that we'll have some type of institution that'll be here long after we're gone for the next generation. So what I'm saying, to cement my point, is don't feed the machine. Right now, we need to be unplugging from the machine. Don't keep feeding the machine. The machine is killing us. Why are you going to keep on feeding dollars into the torture machine? That's what this system is right now. It's the torture device. We sitting up there feeding the torture device money so they can build more institutions that'll harm us, more prisons. More food and drug testing sites. Build more firearms. We should be buying land. We should be buying property. We should be buying stock. We should be buying, investing in ways to make money instead of just giving all the wealth away this time of year. That's just something to think about. We shouldn't just be, giving it away. So that I'll stick a pin in it right there for that section. On to my very last section of the Narrator podcast. This section is my final thoughts section. In this section, what I'm doing is offering a gem, a pearl of wisdom, some wise words, and just something to, inspire critical thinking. And today's final thought is, I didn't write it down, but I'm trying to. Okay, got it now. I remembered it. I didn't have to write it down. Now, one holiday tradition that we can, partake in, righteously, is the New Year's resolution. You don't have to wait to the countdown to do it. You can start doing it right now. You can mend fences. Right now, if you wronged somebody or somebody's felt you wronged them, you can mend the fence. You can extend the olive branch. You can let bygones be bygones right now. Because you don't need to sit up here accumulating and making enemies. I'm not, saying be disingenuous. If you just don't click with somebody or don't like somebody, don't go out of your way to accommodate somebody you just don't like. Don't got to be fake and phony, but then at the same breath, you don't have to go out of your way to be nasty either. So if it's fixable, fix it. Like mend the broken fence. If they want to apologize and move past it. If they don't accept apology, hey, you gave it to them. That's their business if they want to cling on to it, if they want to hold on to it. But definitely try to like mend broken fences around this time of year. Really all year round, but especially around this time of year. People like get down in the dumps. People like is really just out here committing suicide. Like just a couple weeks ago, somebody our children grew up watching just committed suicide. On a child show, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jason David Frank, he just committed suicide. So, we're not promised today. So, don't make it be your day to check up out of here, or like, let somebody check out of here due to something you've done or said. If you can build and mend that fence, build and mend the fence. Like, kick the ego and pride to the side. Extend your hand in brotherhood or sisterhood and be the bigger person right now. But if you done jumped out the window and that's not on the table, hey, but at least try, make an effort. Because again, it's all about staying stress free, protecting your energy, and having conflict is a direct strain on the psyche. Like, your blood pressure gets all up, being angry and hostile and holding on to grudges, all kind of physical stuff that can, shut down on you from holding on to grudges, from being angry. Just let it go. Say sorry, move on. Whether it's a friendship, whether it's, an acquaintance, whether it's a colleague at work, whether it's a blood relative, whether it's a relationship. Like, hey, we hurt each other in the relationship. Let's get past. I hurt you, you hurt me. We're not together. We can't make it work, but let's not be enemies. So yeah, that's it. Mend fences. If it's fixable, fix it. Don't like keep on holding on to it and letting it just drag on forever and passing it down to the next generation. Don't turn into the Hatfield and McCoys out here on these streets. Like, just let it go. Start new. Start fresh, start over again. Just like get a do-over, reset, and let bygones be bygones. You ain't got to be beer drinking buddies with the person, but at least just shrug it off, and it is what it is, and it was what it was, and it is what it is. Like, just let it go. Well, that'll do it for this episode of the Narrative Podcast. Thanks for listening. Help me support my platform by downloading this episode of the Narrative Podcast and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Tell a friend to tune in to the Narrative Podcast. To support, I broadcast every single weekend for full broadcasts of the Narrative Podcast. I also do random lives. I never know what days I'm going to do live. That's why I call them random lives. But tune into those as well. And a good way not to miss a live edition of the Narrative Podcast is to follow me on social media, because on this platform it broadcasts directly to my social media platforms, mainly YouTube and Twitter. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and you won't miss a live episode of the Narrator podcast. And I'm Hallzie Allen on YouTube. That's my viewer channel. I don't have one specifically for the Narrator podcast, but still, that's the only thing uploading is the podcast. I don't upload other content onto it. That's just my viewer channel where I go to watch stuff on. But yeah, the only thing uploaded is Narrator podcast. Also, follow me on Twitter, Hallzie Allen on Twitter, and you will never miss a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. So that's how you support the Narrative Podcast. Download all available episodes of it. This episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast, download them. There's also a share option. You can share them too on all your preferred platforms, and definitely like it. But what gets me the money is the download. So make sure you click that download button. What else I got going on? Oh yeah, I write poetry as well. Read my poetry on Hallzie's Poetry Corner at www.mrhalziesblogs.com. And after you hit that link, share all my poems to all your preferred platforms: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Dig, Reddit, whatever you like. Snap, if people are still using Snapchat, Snap, Pinterest, whatever your preferred platform is, share a poem from Hallzie's Poetry Corner on your preferred platform. And then lastly, I've written a book of poetry called The Black Card. You can visit the bookstore at poetizer.com and purchase it. And it's titled The Black Card. So go over to the bookstore over on Poetizer and snag you a copy for the holidays. It's just 30 poems, but they're really ingeniously crafted and smart and witty and indicative of, our experience, or the original man and the original woman's experience here in America and abroad. But just cultural things we go through. That's why I titled it The Black Card. So go on and pick your copy up today. It's at the Poetizer bookstore, and that'll do it. So thanks for listening. Tune in next week for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Peace, family. Sending love, light, healing energy. Let's get it done. There's still plenty of time for this year. Do whatever you're working on. Keep on pushing. Keep on cranking out results. And go harder for next year. If you're not quite there or didn't get quite the results you was looking for this year. But join me again next week. Same narrative stations, same narrative time, same narrative channel. So, Hallzie Allen Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
to the Narrative Podcast with Hallzie Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.